is Russ. Yeah, I'm back on the road again. Yeah, it's about 53 degrees right now. What time is it? 12:40. What is today? Today's a Wednesday. Yeah, this is going to be the only really good day we have to go out riding this week. All right, we went out on Sunday. But short of that one, this one's our best day to go out. So, I rode on Sunday. I rode the Magicycle commuter bike. Now, that's a class 1 bike, so I had to pedal the entire time. I rode about 10 miles or so on it. Yeah, my knee hurts, man. Yeah, my replaced knee hurts. It's been hurting since I came back from the ride. It goes to show you that I haven't done a whole lot of anything during the winter months. And so it's affected me. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But this ride, I'm gonna throttle most of it. I'll pedal every now and then just to kind of keep my legs moving a little bit, but I'm gonna throttle most of this ride, just to let you know. Got to get my legs back to working conditions again. I'll tell you, this winter I haven't done a whole lot of anything. I've gained some weight too, which is not good. You could always see it in my face. Oh, besides the rest of me. But I gained some weight, and that's simply because I haven't been doing anything. I literally have just been sitting around waiting for time to get outside. Now, I have a recumbent bike, exercise bike at home, but I haven't used that because the other bikes are in the way. I can't even get to it. Yeah, poor excuse, I know. But that's my excuse. Let's turn here. So, I figured I'd take out the Himiway Zebra today. Yeah, I really like this bike. It's built very well. I'll put a picture up so you can see it. It is built like a tank, I'm telling you, and it feels like it too. That's the thing. As I pulled it out, I almost forgot how heavy this bike actually is. Now, they claim 79 pounds, but I'm telling you, when that thing leans over, it feels heavier than the deer. The deer is 93 pounds. Now, how could that be? If one claims 79, the other one claims 93, but the 79-pound one feels heavier than the other one. It feels heavier when you lean it. I'm not saying when you physically pick it up 100% or something, but when you lean it to the side, man, you feel like you're going to drop this bike because it's so heavy. It kind of reminds me of, although I've never been a motorcyclist, but I know from friends who have been, they've told me, it's like if you owned a Yamaha or a Kawasaki or a Suzuki or something like that, and then you bought yourself a Harley. You know what I'm talking about? Those motorcycles are kind of heavy, kind of big, right? That's what this feels like. This feels like that kind of bike being a lot heavier than something that's lighter in weight. So, yeah, I got this bike in the fall of last year. We didn't get a chance to ride it much. I took a look at my odometer. Let me put it up here. 88.7 miles right now. I didn't even break 100 miles on this bike. That's because a lot of these bikes came in at the last minute. It came in right at the tail end in the fall. And, of course, we couldn't really ride much of it because the winter was coming and it was getting cold. And so, yeah, this bike doesn't even have 100 miles on it. So what have I changed on the bike? Well, I added a taller adjustable handlebar stem to raise it up a bit, because I've always kind of felt that I was leaning forward a little bit too much on this bike, so I bought that. Himiway sells it as well. I just bought one off of Amazon and put it on there. It makes a big difference, quite frankly. I really don't like leaning forward too much. I'd rather be a little more upright. I'm still leaning forward a little bit, but nowhere close to what it was before. Then I have the Magicycle BP09 which I did a review of fairly recently for the cell phone mount. And this is a half knee mirror. It's kind of a tear shape style mirror. And this stuff is in the description of my videos, of course. You can always find links to things there. My wife told me, you're missing stuff on that link, on that description of things that I know you like. And I said, I've run out of space. I don't think they allow me to put that much in the description of videos. So I was thinking maybe I should put together some type of Russ is Right website just to put a listing of things that I like and links to that. Would you guys like to see that? I know a lot of people ask me about accessories and things. Some of them are accessories that, of course, I've used for a long time. Others, I just kind of see it and I said, well, that would be cool to have. I may not actually even own it. I may actually separate those, things I'd like to see or get, and then things I actually use. What do you think of that? Because I really don't like to make a recommendation unless I actually have tried it. But on the other hand, I can kind of tell from just looking at some of the description of some of these products that it would be one that I wouldn't mind having. But of course, I can't buy everything in the world, right? But you might want something like that. So maybe I could say, hey, this is one I think might be cool. But I haven't tried it yet. But check it out. And then you can make your own decision. How's that? What do you think of that? So anyway, I'll work on that. We'll see if we can do something like that in the coming videos. I have to put together a website to do that. So I charged up the Himiway Zebra for a ride today. I just felt like riding a really stable, heavy bike. And this would be it. This and the Deer are probably the two heaviest bikes in the whole range of bikes that I've got at home right now. So we've ridden the Deer. I still need to do an actual full review of the Deer and the like, but I knew I couldn't do that today and do a good job on it. So I said, well, we'll just hold off a little bit. It's okay. There's a lot of reviews on the Deer out there. But of course, if you're waiting for mine, well, gotta wait a little longer, I guess. And so I said, okay, well, what else could I take? So I said, well, there's the Himiway. I haven't pulled that one out. Let's do it. So this morning I charged up the battery because, of course, as you know, the batteries were brought down in level, but I brought it back up to 100%. And then I took a look at my chart of how many miles did we get on these bikes, and I believe I got 30 miles out of this bike when we did the range test. Now, I don't know how it's going to last now since it's really the first day of the season with it. Charged it up from whatever state it happened to be in during the winter months. So let's just guess a little less than 30 miles, right? How far are we willing to go today? Well, because it is a little bit warmer, let me switch myself back to the odometer of trip meter. Then I don't know how many miles we've gone. We've gone like 2.8 miles. So how's this thing gonna do? Well, I think we'll do okay. I wasn't really sure where we would go. I was thinking maybe the Prospect Heights Trail. I'm not sure. We'll just ride, and if I get cold, I won't do it. Then I'll come back. But right now, it doesn't feel too bad. I'll probably start sniffling again, But hey, I found my little cap, my little beanie cap that I put on underneath my helmet, so at least my ears are warm. Yeah, when I took that ride on Sunday and I came back, man, I was chilled to the bone, man. Yeah, it took me a couple hours just to get my temperature back. Climbed underneath some blankets and everything, and yeah, it really it really chilled me all up. So I figured this time out, it's a little bit warmer, and I wanted to make sure I found that cap, and I did. So I'm wearing that. I'm wearing the. Let's pump ourselves up here a little bit. I'm not wearing the safety vest again. So I'm relying on this white bike for people to see it. And I seriously doubt they will. Let me turn on the headlight. At least we have a little visibility there. And then, of course, is it actually on? Nope, it's not on. Wrong button. There we go. Turn on the headlights. It'll turn on the back tail light. That'll give me a little bit of visibility as well. Do I even remember how to get to the Prospect Heights Trail? Do we turn here? I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Let's try it. Yeah, did I ever tell you my sense of direction is really bad? Yeah, if you've been with me a while, you know it is. That's why usually I use the map. Don't have the map on right now. So yeah, it was really cold, and then I came back and my legs felt like jelly. That tells you 10 miles of constant riding, because you have to pedal that bike. There's no other way to do it. Even though it's not hard pedaling, it's still constantly moving for 10 miles. It felt like jelly. I could barely walk. I felt like, oh, I have no strength. And see, that goes to show you what happens when you don't do a thing during the winter months. And I'm not kidding. I didn't do a thing. I just kind of sat in a lazy chair and just sat there for a couple of months. So yeah, don't do that. Do a little bit of exercise, right? I lower my pedal assist levels here. I don't go too fast. So, I'm hesitating because I'm looking around trying to decide, am I going the right direction? Am I going the right place? Yeah, so my legs are really felt like rubber. I just did not have any strength. It took me a couple days to get back to where I felt like I could even walk again. Now, here's an interesting thing. I was watching Southern E-Biking today. Shout outs to him and Rip One Outdoors, RV enthusiasts. You guys know I watch those guys. They're part of our channel. They watch us. I think I gotta turn here. And he was talking about the fact that I think he was getting cramps. So I'm thinking he had a Charlie horse in his leg. I've had that many times. I'll probably get it again this year. And people said, you need to drink things with electrolytes, like Gatorade or something like that. He mentioned pickle juice. I know they do that at the ride in Iowa, the Ragbri ride. People will sell you pickle juice. He didn't have any pickle juice. I don't think I really would want to drink the pickle juice, quite frankly, but I know a lot of people do it. Let's stop here for a second. And so, my advice to him would be maybe try Gatorade or something. Electrolytes is really just salt. Isn't it? Kind of. So, got to keep your salt content up. Get some potassium in you. People have mentioned to me, eat bananas, whatever, eat properly and drink the right stuff. Get in enough fluids in you. Don't go on draining yourself without fluids. And hopefully that'll help. But yeah, even doing that, let me get some fluids too. It's a small bottle here. I had this when I had the Van Powers. The Van Powers Mana Day. Van Powers Mana Day, the bottle cage would not take my large bottle. So you got to get one of the standard smaller bottles. So that's what I did. But, as you know, I sold it to one of our subscribers, and he's got it now. So if he's watching, if you want a water bottle, you want one this size. This one's made by Polar, okay? So they make a tall one and they make a short one. You want a shorter one because it won't fit. If you put a water bottle cage there, it won't fit there. Now I took everything off of that because I needed all the accessories for future bikes coming in. So I usually, when I sell off a bike, I put everything back the way it came. So you don't get the extra stuff. You don't get the extra mirrors or anything that they put on those bikes. I strip it all off because I need it for the next bike coming in, right? Speaking of other bikes, since we're talking about it, a couple of you have asked me, what's the status on those other bikes coming in? Yeah, I'm questioning that myself. Yeah, I haven't heard from them ever since two companies. Ever since I told them that I would be interested in taking their bikes that they offered to bring and send to me, I haven't heard from them one word. One of them I actually sent another response to, say, hey, did you get my response? Still haven't heard from them. So yeah, forget it. So if you're the companies that were considering sending it to me, don't bother. I don't think I'm interested anymore. And the reason is because I feel if they can't respond to me, how are they going to respond to the customers that might buy those bikes? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm not interested anymore. Now, what about Electric Bike Company? Yeah, I'm still waiting to hear back from them too. Now, typically, I know that it's taken them a couple of days sometimes to get back to me because they have things going on. But yeah, I haven't heard from them either. So, so we'll see. And maybe they're going to pull back on that bike too. We'll see. Oh, well, if it is, that's the way it goes, I guess. But no, we had quite a few conversations back and forth via email concerning. Let's see. Okay, we got to turn here. Okay, this heads towards Lake Arlington. Yeah, okay, we'll go this route. Yeah, we had a number of email exchanges, and they got my order in as to what I wanted. So I'm sure they're just working on it. And I know the rep sometimes gets tied up on other stuff, so I'm not too worried about them. But the other two companies, yeah, I never heard back from them, so yeah, I'm not interested. Now, there was another company who contacted me, which I didn't respond to them. If I don't have an interest, I usually don't respond. And but in case when I do respond, I kind of hope that they keep going with it, but didn't hear him from. So yeah, so this other company had sent me several emails in which I didn't respond to, and then they finally sent me an email saying, "We know you opened up the email. Why aren't you responding? Why don't you let us know why you don't want the bike or whatever?" So if you have certain type of email services, they can tell whether you open the mail or you don't. Like if you had constant contact, are you guys familiar with that? It's like if you do email blitz to a whole bunch of people, you could kind of see whether they opened the mail or they didn't. When I had my photography school, I send out an email. It goes to thousands of students. I could tell how many people looked at it and how many people didn't look at it. So apparently they knew that I looked at it, but I didn't respond, so they wanted to know. I really kind of hated to tell them, but if they really want to know, I figured, all right, I'll tell them. I'll tell them what I thought. My wife says, don't say anything, just leave it alone. That's how she typically is. She doesn't like to put out any information more than she has to. But I says, no, if they want to know, I'll tell them. So I emailed them back and I says, here's the reason I'm not really that interested. I says, first off, I have a number of bikes coming in that has to be done for reviews already, so my time is kind of limited. I wouldn't even be able to get to the thing for a long time, even if I took it. And then, secondly, I says, none of the bikes that you have really interest me. I says, many of my viewers tend to be older generation, and the style of bikes that you have really don't fit what I think a lot of them really would be interested in. We're talking like the moped style bikes and stuff. Now they do have one that's not. All right, it's not like they don't, but they do have one at least. But didn't look that good as far as what it might be able to do, to me at least. I mean, maybe it is good, I don't know. But based on its price point and things that it had and things that it is missing, I said, I don't think so. And then the moped style bikes, as you know, I don't really like because I can't pedal those bikes. I'm too big, tall wise, so, and that I want a decent extension on my leg in order for me to ride them. You can't do that on a bike that doesn't have an adjustable saddle. It's just like one platform seat, right? So I said, no, I'm not interested in those. And I says, I don't think my viewers would be interested in it either. So my recommendation to them was maybe find a younger reviewer to review your bikes, because based on my age and what I'm looking at, I'm not the right guy to do it for you. Hopefully they will understand and appreciate that, because the worst thing would happen is I take the bike in and I just give them a lousy review. That's not going to help you, right? Better that I turn you down than it is for me to take in something that I don't feel would really fit, right? So that's what I told him. All right, am I heading in the right direction? This is the first time out here this year, so again, my direction is terrible, so I don't really know whether I think I'm supposed to turn. I gotta turn left here somewhere. So that's what's going on for that. So what are we up to now? 40? I've turned down 40 bikes now. I've taken in 15. I've kept 10. Kept 10. No, I've taken in 14. Kept 10. Sold 4. That's where we're at. Now, with other bikes coming, at least if they show up, if the electric bike company one shows up, that'll make it 15. I'm thinking we got to take a left. I think I should have turned earlier, because this doesn't even look familiar now. Let's just keep going now. Hey, if we miss it, we miss it. If we get there, we get there. Okay, I see where we are. I think that's Palatine Road up ahead. So, anyway, I just want to get out and ride, quite frankly. I don't mind doing the reviews, but I don't want it to be the main purpose of this channel. I just want to get out and ride. I mean, that's why I bought the bike. I bought the bike so that it would help my knee. That was the main purpose. It's nice, though, that people gave me bikes to review. I don't mind doing it. I just don't want it to be the main purpose of the channel. Hey, maybe that's why these guys aren't sending bikes, because they heard me say that. It's possible. That's definitely possible. I hope not. I hope they see that there was still some value in it. But I did tell companies that, I would like to get a secondary battery, and I think maybe that could have scared them off. I explained why I do that I actually ride your bike. I don't just review it and leave it alone, so you do get a lot of exposure. And now look, Himiway. I don't have to ever touch this bike ever again if I didn't want to, but here I am riding the Himiway Zebra. Why? Because I ride the bikes. If I like the bikes, I ride them. So, the Zebra only has one battery. You could say, well, hey, you only got one of those. You didn't get a secondary battery. Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't ask them for a second battery. I wouldn't mind if they gave me one. But I did not ask them for it, so obviously it's not to their fault that they didn't give me one, because they didn't know to give me one. It's okay. I don't need it for every single bike. If I feel that the bike I'm going to take at a distance, then yeah, I'm going to need it. Like the Magicycles, I've asked for additional batteries because I do plan to take those for distances. This one, being a heavier bike, actually surprisingly though, we still get 30 miles out of the thing for a heavy guy like me, throttling a lot and then pedaling every now and then. Still got like 30 miles out of it. But that's because it's got a 20 amp hour battery. But that's becoming to be more of the norm now, that companies are companies are putting in 20 amp hour batteries now. So if you're buying bikes that have 14 or 15, that's okay too. But just know that there are other bikes that have 20 amp hours. But the thing is when you do that, the bike becomes really heavy because you got more batteries in there, right? So like if you took a Jaguar Rundy, the Magicycle Jaguar Rundy, and you took their, I think what they have in there, 15 amp hour maybe, and you turned it into 20, it would be a heavier bike. You know, it's a folding bike. You really sometimes don't want to have extra weight on a folding bike, right? So it probably doesn't make sense to put in a 20 amp hour battery in there. You know, if you wanted to go further, you could always get a second battery. But as we know, we're still waiting for second batteries on Jaguar Rundys. I don't understand that. I don't really understand why it's taking it so long, quite frankly. I've never gotten a really good word from them about that either. So I know a number of you guys are looking for second batteries for that bike. So you're waiting just like I'm waiting. So go figure, I don't know. Are we heading in the right direction? I think we are. I have no idea. I think it is. So yeah, so this bike being 20 amp hour already, it's good for like what I'm doing right now. I can do a 20 amp hour battery, do this ride down to Prospect Heights and come back. So not every bike needs the double battery. I've got plenty of bikes that do have the two batteries, but oh, you might wonder if I heard back from Magicycle regarding the second Jaguar Rundy, and the answer is no, I have not heard back from them yet. I did ask them for it so that we might be able to take it on the Door County trip, but I have not heard back, so I don't know. They're probably thinking about it. It's okay. I hope they do. If they don't, then they'll share the glory with another company, because I'll have to take another bike instead, along with the Jaguar Rundy that I currently have. But I would like both of us to ride it, because I know that people do stop us when they see us riding, and we usually talk about the bikes and the like. And so it would be nice to be able to say, hey, well, this is what it is. It's the Magicycles, right? But otherwise, I'd have to split the talking between the two brands, and I'd rather that we both ride the same bike. Okay, I am missing the path. This is Camp McDonald Road I just passed. That means by the time I run into the thing, I'll be at the end of the path. So I'm actually not riding the path, I'm riding the streets along parallel to the path somewhere. That's okay, no big deal. We'll ride it to the end of where I usually go, and then we'll ride back with it. So for me, it's actually better that I keep the GPS on, it seems, because I tend to forget where the entrances to things are and the like. I'm heading in the right directions, just not on the path. So how does it feel riding again after being away from riding for so long? Feels good. Feels good. All right, which way do I gotta go? Oh, this is Rand Road. Ooh, I did not want to hit Rand Road. Let me see here. Let me think about this. Do I want to do Rand Road? Not really. Rand Road, where's that hit? We need to go back the other way. But of course I can't see, so I'm just gonna hop off the bike, turn around, because the truck is in the way. I can't see if there's anybody coming or not. See, there's a car there. So I just have to safely get across, go the other way. Let me get back up. So I'm going to use the curb. Gives me a little bit more height. Swing my leg over, even though it's a step through. get back on. All right. Well, I didn't want to take Rand Road. I've ridden Rand Road before, but there's just too many cars. I don't feel comfortable being on there. So where is the entrance to this thing? Now, it would be nice if we had a compass. I guess I could turn on the GPS. I guess I could do that, but yeah, we rode this long without it. Let's just ride along a little bit more. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Wherever we go is where we go. Oh, man. And I'm not pedaling much today anyways. I'm just kind of going for a ride. Throttle it and go for a ride. Hey, a couple of you guys asked me about these, I don't know, can you see this? Let me show you this. Can you see the throttle thing? Where do you get those thumb throttle things? Let's see. Let's take a right. See where this goes. See where this goes. It's 3D printed. Actually, it's a 3D printed attachment that you can put on top of a twist throttle. And if you go on YouTube and just look up in YouTube, do a search for like Russ's Right thumb throttle or something like that, I think you'll find it. If you look in the description of the video, you'll see the link to where you can download the actual file. And I had mine printed at my local library. They have a service that they will 3D print your file for you, and they just charge you for the cost of the plastic. And then I bought the screws and the nut at Menards, one of our local, well, they're not local, I think they're national hardware store chains. But I eventually went on AliExpress and bought a bunch of screws and a bunch of nuts, because I figured onesie twosies was costing me more than if I just bought 50 at a time. So that's what I did. I had them shipped to me from China. Okay, now I think I know where I am. We'll go. Let's see. Should we turn? Yeah, we'll go straight. So yeah, that's what this is. It's just a 3D printed. Can you see that? It's a 3D printed thumb throttle attachment. Let me talk a little bit about these step-through bikes. Everyone wants a step-through bike. Here's one thing I'd miss with a step-over bike that a step-through bike can't do for me. When I hop off the bike, I have to hold the bike with my hands because I don't have a top bar to straddle over, and my legs will hold the bike up. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing there. So if I just were to let go, the bike would just fall over left or right. So the one advantage of the step-over design is that I can straddle it when I hop off, and I don't have to hold the bike. My legs hold it in place because the top bars across it. So that is one benefit of a step-over. I think if we go further down, we're going to run into the bike path. Or if we don't run into it, we'll run close to it. Where we're at right now is Prospect Heights. To the right of us would be Mount Prospect. And the park that we usually end up at is, I'm not sure, I think that's Mount Prospect Park, or it could be Prospect Heights Park, but the two towns are next to each other, of course. So we're near the tail end of that path. I'm just trying to find the entrance back to it. I believe it's further up. Yeah, we get to see something different here, right? Now, I did bring the 360 camera, but it's such a hassle sometimes. I was gonna kind of show you me riding the bike and all, but after not finding the path and everything, I said, forget it. It's strapped onto the back of the rack. I have a tool bag in the back. It's kind of sitting next to that. I use bungee cords to hold on to that tool bag, and so it's underneath the bungee cords. Okay. Yeah, we're heading in the right direction. It's beginning to look familiar. I didn't know we were that far off, quite frankly. I thought we were... I think my mistake was I turned right in the one spot where I should have maybe went to the left. Yeah, somebody said, can you mention the different places you're at? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I forget. If you're local, you would recognize it anyway, I think. The streets that I'm taking a lot of times are kind of major streets that at least areas you would know, cross through places like Arlington Heights, Palatine, Prospect Heights, Mount Prospect. We went into Morton Grove when we're heading towards the North Branch Trail. North Branch Trail is the one that takes us to the Botanic Gardens. So we'll do that again this year, of course. But we are going to different places. We will be going to Door County, Wisconsin, sometime this year. Haven't yet determined when. And what else are we doing? Yeah, we're doing the bike to drive thing on Lakeshore Drive in downtown Chicago area. My wife mentioned to me that she's requested a number of vacation days, so we will have other weekend days that we can, weekdays and weekend days that we can maybe find some other places we can ride. So she's willing to go out. Yeah, she's willing to go out to ride. It's just that if it's local, we'll probably use the bike rack. If it's not local, all right. So we're right here by the entrance to the path. Let's go to the end of the path and we'll swing back around again, since we're already here, so you can see it. For those who are new, the rest of you guys recognize this thing, of course. But yeah, so she's willing to go out and do some of these rides now, because she's gotten used to being on the e-bike. She's riding a better bike now. She had the Red Mini Step Through 2, which is a great bike. It's a folding bike. But I've given her the Ocelot Pro to be hers to ride. I'll ride it too, on occasion when she's not around. But that'll be essentially her bike that she'll take when she needs a full-size regular bike rather than a folding bike. And so locally, we can take the bigger bikes to local things. But if we do like Door County, Wisconsin, it's about a 4.5 hour ride from Chicago area to get up there. I don't really want to have that on the back of the SUV, on the highway for that long, bouncing around and stuff. So I think taking the folding bikes for those type of trips would be a better thing to do. So yeah, there's good and bad for certain types of bikes. Now, could you use the folding bikes for everything? Yeah, you could. Why not? Nothing says you can't. But there's something to be said about riding the full-size bikes as well. And so we'll use the full-size bike as much as we can locally, and then we'll use the folding bikes on trips that require a little bit further, right? That's my thought. Oh, and just so that you know, some of the hotels and stuff have comments that they do not want your bikes inside the hotel rooms, that they want you to keep it outside of the hotel room in Wisconsin. So if you were to take your full-size bike, where would you put your bike? They mentioned you could lock it up in their shed, but I don't trust a locking mechanism where I can't see it all the time in a shed. I don't trust that. So to me, I think it would be better to just leave a folding bike inside my car when I'm in their room, right? So anyway, that's that, at least. Those some of the things I found out. All right, I'm going to swing ourselves around this thing. Yeah, let's just go this way. I know that there's you can go through like the forest preserve area here. See, this is a driving range right over here in front of us. So golfers will come here and do a bit of driving. So I don't usually cut through here when they're doing that. I don't want to be disturbing them. But I think if you go through here, kind of goes in the back of the forest preserves area. Eventually, it brings you back to the path, I believe. So we haven't done this. I've done this once, I think, since I bought my Rad Rover 5. It's a little wet here, so let's go a little bit slower. I don't want to splatter myself. Wash off my tires a little bit with dirty water. Yeah, it's there's a lot of flooding because it was raining and stuff. Even though today we have decent weather, well, relatively decent weather, it's going to. Here we go again. It's going to rain on, I think, Friday, they said. And then it'll be good again on Saturday and Sunday. No, it's going to snow on Friday. Yeah, I think it's going to snow on Friday, and then it's going to rain a little bit later after that. Something like that. Yeah, it's just weird. The weather is just way off this year. But we've had a lot of rain and the like. So that kind of like melted off the remaining snow that was hanging around here. And not too long ago, we had snow too, right? We had quite a bit of snow, in fact. All right, we're back. We're gonna take this path back to get back home. So, okay. So anyway, if you take a look at this trail now, everything looks pretty much dried out, burnt out. Yeah, it always looks like this. But then when the spring and summer happens, everything's all green out here, of course. They seem to cut things back sometimes. Other ones, they like over here, they don't seem to cut it back. They just leave it. I guess it just grows over the top of that, I guess, then. Slow down over this water again. Yeah, we've done about 12.1 miles. Yeah, I get to wash off my my wheels. Use some dirty water, wash it off. Wash off your dirty wheels with dirty water. But yeah, they cut all the stuff back and it'll just all grow on back again. There's high tension wires here. Somebody asked in the past about using a drone. I said, I go through a high tension wire area sometimes, and so using a drone, not too safe. Not around here. And then other areas I go through, is like residential streets and stuff. I don't really feel comfortable using a drone for something like that. And besides, I would probably need a commercial license. Since you are a YouTuber, I guarantee a lot of YouTubers don't get it, but they really should. If they make any type of money at all, you're considered a commercial use, in which case your drone really should be registered with the FAA, get the FAA license and everything like that. Like I mentioned before, in professional photography, if we were to use that to say like do real estate photography, or even at weddings, when I used to shoot the weddings, you would need a commercial license. See, now that bump there, the deer would have done really well because you have a soft tail bike where you have a suspension on the rear besides the suspension in the front. And I have the suspension a little bit tighter today. Let me lighten it up a little bit. Maybe I turned it the wrong way. Let me turn it the other way. No, not that way. It is this way. Okay. So, that's just the adjustments on your front suspension. But if you had a rear suspension, like I'm going over these bumps here, as you can hear in my voice, I'm kind of like, almost like hiccuping as I hit the bumps. The deer would do very well here. You would definitely feel the difference having that bike. But we don't have the deer today. We're using the Himiway, which is a hardtail bike. It's funny they call it a hardtail, but they got their own terms. Here's the one thing that I noticed with the Zebra that I really like. If you take a look at the seat stay and the chain stay, those are the two things in the back of your bike. The two, I don't know what you want to call it, the metal things that hold your wheel. Is that a good way of calling it? That's called the seat stay and the chain stay. It's really heavy duty on the Himiway, more so than any of the other bikes I have. It's just built really well. If you want a solidly built bike, and you don't mind the weight of this bike, get the Zebra. Yeah, but the thing is, the Zebra. Maximum speed is 25 miles per hour. I was only able to get it to 24 miles an hour. No big deal, But of course, other bikes, which are class 3 bikes, will do 28 miles per hour. So, you might be shy by 3 or 4 miles per hour. Yeah, big deal. But it is a big deal sometimes if you're trying to compete with the cars. Yeah, you kind of wish you had that extra few miles per hour more. But if you don't mind it, that doesn't bother you too much, get the Zebra. Zebra's pretty nice. What is it selling for? Like $1,999, something like that. It's just shy of $2,000. And I think they usually have like discounts, like $150 off or something like that. So you might be able to get one for like $1,850-ish. Thank you. Yeah, you might be able to get one for about $1,850. Sometimes they go on sale, more. I don't know. But I think that's what they currently go for when you see a sale price is about $150 off. You can use my link if you like to get there. When you use the link, not the discount code, okay? When you use the link, I get a little commission for that. Okay, this is pretty flooded out. I knew this one would be because there's always floods out over here. There's like a river over here now, right? So we're going to go through this really slowly. See, this is why you want to have fenders. You didn't have fenders, all that stuff would be splattering all over you. Let it splatter the underneath side of the fender instead. And some bikes don't have the fenders. I know like mountain bikes typically would not have fenders because they're going through mud and all sorts of stuff and it just kind of cakes up and you don't want to do that. But for something like this, I want the fenders, man. I don't want to get splashed. If you didn't even have rear fenders, it'd be splashing all over the back. all through your back. You don't want that. So yeah, the deer. Some people would take it off. You know, if they're going to go on some off-roading type of adventures, they might want to take it off. But I would leave it on. I don't like to get splashed of stuff. So yeah, I'm still waiting for my accessories too for the deer. I'm still waiting for the rear rack to show up, second battery, all that kind of stuff. So. Oh, I did ask the Magicycle for a replacement part. The car rack that they sent me, the strap on one of the things that hold the tires on was not really locking very well. So they sent me a replacement part for that. So thank you to Magicycle for that. Yeah, you need to have that working well. That's what's holding your bike up on the rack. Otherwise it'd be falling off the rack, right? So yeah, it never really worked that great, and then all of a sudden it really didn't work at all. So I think it had a bad clip or something like that. The little ratcheting part of the strap wasn't holding it in place. The replacement part's fine, and the three other ones are fine. So yeah, so I put that on there already, ready for the next time we take out the bikes on the rack. I'll tell you, with the Zebra, it's such a nice looking bike. Actually, having the bottle on top of where it's put it kind of covers the little zebra pattern that's underneath. My wife likes it without the bottle. She says it looks better without it. I says, yeah, well, practically speaking, I kind of need it there because I need my water, which I will take right now, in fact. Kind of drying out. So, not all bikes have a convenient place to put a water bottle. Step-throughs can do it, but it eats up your step-through space a little bit. But on the Zebra, you do have a little extra space. They could have gone a little higher up, but then it would cover the word zebra. So I think that's why it's a little bit lower than where I would probably prefer to have it. So here we have to cross through where there's major traffic coming through. So you really can't go until you feel comfortable that cars are kind of gone through. So we sit and we wait. And then we go. Alright. So this area, I think they repaved this last year. As you can see, it's better asphalt on here. It's been restriped as well. They didn't do it on all of it, so maybe this city did it. I think we're in Wheeling now or something. They paid for it probably, but the other side is Prospect Heights. They didn't pay for it. So they didn't resurface it. Now, on occasion, you still hit the little bump. You can see it kind of goes across. But at least they made an effort to repave and restripe. Even if they don't repave, they should restripe, I think. A lot of times you'll find that I'll ride in the middle. Like a lot of times you'll see me like right dead center here, where you should really be here, but I look in the rearview mirror besides forward, and when I don't see anybody around, you know, a lot of times I'll just stay in the center. But you got to get used to being off to the side. Otherwise you're always going to be in the center. Alright, we are towards the back end of the path here now. It's a short path, it's not really long. but it's just a destination to go to. So how am I feeling? Well, I'm not as cold, that's for sure. Not as Sunday. Sunday was really cold. I'm a lot better this time. But I think the hat, or the little cap, has helped quite a bit, because it covers my ears, and of course no air flows through the top of it then. So it makes it a little snugger, yeah, but I kind of need it. I guess you could wear ear muffs or something like that, but then that would be too much. I'd rather have the knit cap on underneath. All right, let's see if we can bop our way back. See if we can make it back here. Took me a while to get here. I was not sure which way to turn, which way to go. Now I know I can cut through Lake Arlington, but there's usually a lot of goose poop around there, and since I've washed off my wheels with dirty water, I don't think I want to go through it. So we'll take the streets. Take the streets back. And the fact that I was able to find my way there, even though I didn't use the GPS, I did it the wrong way, but I got there, right? That's an accomplishment in itself for me. Yeah, I have a lousy sense of direction. So I think here, if we would have taken a right there, we would end up at Lake Arlington for local people. But we're just going to take we'll take Palatine Road back. See, Palatine Road is kind of a divided highway. If you go in one direction, you're doing like 45, 50 miles an hour. If you go on the other side of it, then you do like 30. So of course we're on that side of it. So it's up ahead, you'll see. So if you look straight ahead, you'll see cars that are going past. They're on the fast route of it, but it's divided. There's a median strip in the middle. So we'll take the side where it's a lot easier. So we'll be on this side of it. So this side slower, that side faster. We'll eventually have to cross over it, but that's just crossing over versus riding in it. There are some roads, to me, I just don't want to be on. Obviously, on that side of this road, I wouldn't want to be on. And the same thing with Rand Road. I've ridden on Rand Road before, but never felt comfortable on it because it goes really fast, and you don't know how people will drive, so yeah, I try not to be on it. Now, people have asked me about sidewalks and the like, and I know a number of you guys do ride on the sidewalks, but I did look up the ordinance again, because somebody says you cannot ride an e-bike on a sidewalk, and he is correct. In our area, you cannot ride the e-bike. You can ride a regular bike. You can't ride an e-bike. So if you have an e-bike, you have to go on the street by law in this area. Check your local ordinances, because sometimes even if the state says whatever, a local ordinance may want to try to override that. So you just have to look to see what's allowed and what's not allowed. But I think the state of Illinois says you cannot do it. I think that's where it came from. I don't know. I looked it up. I can't remember. But you can't ride on the sidewalk. Whether you do it or not, it's up to you, but legally, you're not supposed to. All right, we're gonna need to go to the left over here, cross over, but there's no cars, so I'm gonna have to hope that this car behind me will trigger the light, even though I'm in front of him. If he comes up far enough, he may trigger the light for us. So I just put my hand out, just let him know I'm going to be taking the left here. Now some bikes actually have left turn signal and right turn signal things on their bikes, which is kind of cool. In fact, the electric bike company has that as an option on some of their bikes. I did ask them why it was not an option for me on the bike that I ordered. It's because I have multiple batteries on that bike coming, and there's no more space to put the wiring of that extra electronics. So that option's not available on that bike, based on the fact that I set it up with 3 sets of batteries into that bike. So that makes sense, yeah. But see, like a situation like this, I put my hand out, I kind of let them know I plan to turn, but if I had the little ticky thing going on the bike, then I wouldn't have to leave my hand out. You know, you put your hand out, let them know, but then leave the turn signal thing on the whole time. This would be a little bit easier. The thing is, if you only relied on that turn signal thing, that would not be good, because the bikes are so narrow. You know, they're not really looking for a turn signal from you. They're looking for your hand signal. So you really have to still do a hand signal, in my opinion, if you even have a turn signal option on your bike. Do a hand signal and a turn signal. Do the hand signal to make sure they see it, and then instead of leaving your arm out for like a minute, let the turn signal take over from that point. That's how I see that type of thing. All right, we're doing well. This all looks familiar, at least. Yeah, coming here was another story. I was like, I don't know where I was headed. Coming back, we are headed correct. This is the way we normally head back. So, all right, that's basically all I had to say. Like Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that, right? Well, I appreciate you guys watching and following along. Hopefully we'll do more rides. I don't think we will have any coming up immediately. We're gonna have to probably go back to the talking head again. Okay, buddy. I'm waiting for him to go, and now that he's done that, he's basically eaten up our green light. Yeah, that guy was sleeping at the wheel. But anyway, hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I'll talk to you guys next time.